What is up, guys? Ochiho and Champ here, bringing you guys Team Builder for Week 1 of League Dependency, your Phoenix Sunkern versus New Orleans Pelippers and Coach H. Collin. So, before I get started with this match, you already saw the draft analysis that I put up a little while ago. I'm pretty excited about this team, but let me tell you, Week 1 we are against what some people think is the best team in the league. This is really scary, like actually terrifying. So let's just, without further ado, go through some of his teams. So we have Mega Scissor. This thing kind of just rips through my team. I mean, he can one shot. If he runs the offensive variant, he can run Bullet Punch in one shot. Mega Gardevoir. He can basically one-hit KO almost anything on my team with the offensive set. Or if he chooses to go defensive with Swords Dance and Roost, I mean, very few things I have can stop that. I'm running a lot of fire coverage, you'll find, just to try to counter this thing. And let me tell you, it's going to be a force to reckon with. So next up is Sylveon. Sylveon is a really good Pokemon. Does really well against my Garchomp. Does really well against stuff like Primeape, and can even take a hit. Oh no, never mind. It can take a couple hits from some of my bulkier Pokemon. But overall, it's slow. It gets walled pretty easily by Gardevoir, who can just Psyshock and kill it. But it's a potential bring for him. I think he could do it. Next up is Salamence. Dragon Dance Salamence also destroys my whole team. I have very few responses for this thing. Like, it's actually terrifying. I really don't have a good answer for this. I should get a good answer for it. Because Iron Head destroys Gardevoir. Any dragon move will kill Garchomp. And from there on, I mean, if he could run fire type coverage for Skarmory, he could run Outrage will just decimate a Lomomola at +1 or even +2 because the Lomomola can't do much to him otherwise. But yeah, if he runs full physical, Skarmory will wall him. And that's that. Anyway, up next is Snorlax, bulky Pokemon, kind of passive unless you run Curslax, which he might, but I do have a couple responses for it. He might bring it. There's a very good chance he'll bring Snorlax, but I do have the right responses for it, in my opinion. Next up is Reuniclus. This little blob has swept many a team. I don't think he's going to bring against me. I think I have the right coverage against it. A lot of physical prowess to threaten it out, stop it from using Calm Mind, that sort of thing. Seismitoad, setup fodder for my team. He cannot really do much to my team at all. Aside from like the Sludge Wave on Gardevoir, if he decides to run like Scarf or something, try to catch me off guard like that. Otherwise, not a huge threat. Dugtrio is a Pokemon I'm expecting him to bring. He knows I only have Defog, which is something I'm going to try to fix this week. I might get rid of Empoleon for a spinner. But I think Dugtrio is a likely bring for him just because it traps in Galvantula, so he can set up rocks, and Galvantula can't really do much in return, except maybe Energy Ball or Giga Drain. But yeah, up next is Chandelure. He could bring it. It does well against Gardevoir, but Gardevoir does also kill it with Hyper Voice after 1 or 2. I mean, it might get off an occasional Will-O-Wisp, but honestly, Fire Blast just doesn't do much against my team, except maybe Skarmory. That's about it. On to his next Pokemon, Sneasel. Very scary Pokemon, especially if it's Scarfed or Banded, because this thing just tears holes in my team. I mean, Ice Shard basically one-shots Garchomp. If he runs Poison Jab, he can kill Gardevoir. Ice Shard does a huge chunk to Staraptor. The only real response I have to it is Skarmory, and even that gets worn down pretty quickly by a combination of knockoff and then icicle crashes. It's just bad time all around. If he runs Life Orb, I can deal with it a little better. But I don't see why he would run Life Orb when Icicle Crash basically destroys my whole team. Icicle Crash or knockoff. Next up on his team is Roserade. Not a Pokemon I'm expecting him to bring. It's pretty passive. Well, not passive per se, but it really can't do much to my team. I mean, between Skarmory, between like Garchomp, he can't really hurt. And then there's Staraptor, which will one-shot it. Let's see, what else do I have? Empoleon, he can't really hurt Empoleon that much. Even Typhlosion or Bisharp, he can't really hurt that well. And finally up is Electabuzz. Electabuzz is a Pokemon I think he's going to bring, but I think he's going to be pretty surprised because it can't do that much. It won't be able to do as much as he thinks it's going to be able to. Just because I have so many threats on my team that even if it carries Eviolite, I can one-shot it. The problem would be if he brings Scarfed or Specs. That would be where the issue comes in, and I would not do so well against it. But unless he has Hidden Power Ice and predicts the Garchomp switch-in, Garchomp does very well against him. So anyway, that's his team. Now let's go on to what I'm bringing for him. Alright, so we're starting off with Mega Gardevoir. I actually was not sure if I was going to bring Gardevoir or not because he has a ton of responses for it. But I have a plan. And just seeing how much damage Gardevoir puts out, it really changed my opinion on bringing it. First of all, I have to bring Timid because otherwise Salamence just destroys me and outspeeds and just wrecks my whole team, especially with Scarf. But if it has Scarf, it cannot one-shot me even with Iron Head at neutral stats. I'm hoping he brings either the Iron Head or the I'm hoping he either brings the Scarf or he brings a bulky set. And I think in terms of Scissor, he's going to bring a bulky set because that's one of his only viable Roost options, Roost and Defog options. The other one being Salamence, which Salamence is not that great of a defogger, in my opinion. But yeah, so I'm bringing Mega Gardevoir, Hyper Voice, Hidden Power Fire for Scissor, Psyshock, and I was debating whether to bring Calm Mind or Focus Blast, but I decided Calm Mind would help me take some of those special attacks a little better. Focus Blast would really only be for the Snorlax, and even then it was one shot, whereas Hyper Voice will just 2-hit KO at a +1. So we have that. Running Timid. Next up is Galvantula. I need to get webs up this game. If I don't get webs up, I almost certainly lose because he has so many threats to outspeed my team. That's one of the reasons why I wanted webs so badly, was because I have a lot of middling speed tiers. So Roach the Galvantula is going to be really essential. I'm hoping to get him up later game if I can take out that Scissor and anything that might have defog. The thing is, if he brings Dugtrio, I am pretty much dead. I get outsped, and I cannot do much to him in return. I would get one shot by... I don't get one shot by Earthquake, actually, but it's pretty close. And he just outspeeds me with everything. So that's going to be a rough time if he decides to bring it. Next up is going to be Sharknado. My Garchomp. This thing is one of my responses to Scissor, and I have two. This and Skarmory. You can see the nickname Scissor is trash. Yeah, so this is going to be my primary response to Scissor, especially in revenge killing, because I have Rocky Helmet, And I am running a mixed set this week. I have Stealth Rocks on Skarmory. So I'm running Iron Head for the Sylveon and for the Sneasel, Earthquake for coverage against things like the Doug Trio, against things like the Electabuzz. Draco Meteor just absolutely destroys Salamence, especially if he's predicting a physical set and brings Intimidate. And Fire Blast is for Scissor, just 100%. That won't take him out if he's a bulky set, but if he's offensive, it's very likely it will take him out. So max defense, minimum speed, because I don't really need speed in this game with webs. Yeah, max HP, all that jazz. And yeah, he takes hits so well from everything. Even if Scissor has Bug Bite, which is the most damaging move he could potentially run against me. Let's see how much it actually does with a quick calc. Oh, never mind. It's not actually. Oh, wait. I forgot to factor in Technician. Yeah, Bug Bite does at most 30% with the bulky set, and I think up to 50% on a offensive set. So yeah, definitely a good response to this. The only thing is I lack recovery, but that's what Skarmory is for. I have recovery on that. Next up is Hulk. Let me tell you, I was super surprised when I learned how much coverage Primate gets. I mean, after my other game in with Nuz Games in a different league, I mean, this thing has so much coverage, it's ridiculous. But this week I'm running a pretty standard set. Close Combat, U-Turn, Gunk Shot, Fire Punch. This set absolutely destroys this whole team with webs, though. Fire Punch just destroys Scissor. Gunk Shot will take care of the Sylveon. U-Turn is just for pivoting. And Close Combat takes care of everything else, except for if he decides to bring Intimidate Salamence. But if he brings Intimidate Salamence, I just go into Gardevoir. Or I go into Skarmory. Or I go into literally anything else, because Intimidate Salamence is not that scary, which is why I don't think he'll bring it. I was thinking of bringing Ice Punch, but I decided Fire Punch and Gunk Shot were too valuable, and I really wanted U-Turn for that pivot. Alright, next up is Nuke It, Staraptor. Choice Banded because I want to get webs up. You can see now why webs are so vital for this team, but Choice Banded, Brave Bird, Quick Attack, Close Combat, U-Turn. U-Turn again for pivoting, but Brave Bird destroys his entire team. Close Combat does more damage to Sneasel. Not that it really matters. If Sneasel's banded, it goes up to 600% damage. Close Combat also takes care of Electabuzz a little better. And Quick Attack is if he has a weakened Sneasel and he wants to go for Ice Shard. I will outspeed if he is not Scarfed and webs are up. I will outspeed, and I do up to 60% damage. Actually, 75% damage with Quick Attack. Choice Banded Quick Attack, man, it wrecks. And yeah, I'm running Adamant over Timid because I'm that confident. Oh, man, I love this thing. Last but not least is Scissor equals Trash my Skarmory. As you can tell, my primary Scissor response. If he's bringing physical Salamence, this is also my primary response to that. Fire Blast will not be fun to take, but yeah. So Roost Counter will take care of Scissor if he decides to try to Swords Dance in my face. The most damaging move he can do to me is Superpower, which does a surprising amount. At +2, it does 50%. But with Counter, I will Oko. It's fantastic. I love it. Anyway, yeah, I'm also running Iron Head for Sylveon, for Sneasel. It almost won Oko Sneasel if it's not the Eevee Light set. Iron Head also does a nice chunk to Doug Trio, also does a nice chunk to Salamence. Not that much, but yeah. So, and also Stealth Rocks and Roost just to get that damage up. So, that's my team. We're going against the New Orleans Pelippers. Really, really scary team. But make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you think of my team and whether you think we'll win this first week. And I'm super excited for this. Oh man, but I'm so nervous as well. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.